How's it going, guys? This is Derek Smith, and this is the podcast for Monday, November 11th, 2019. Sorry about my voice, guys. It's a little raspy today. We had a tournament this past weekend, and I was yelling a lot for my teammates and stuff. So bear with me, please. I want to give a quick shout out, as always, to Country Crush, Nat Fit, and Lion Straps. You guys check them out whenever you guys get a chance, please. So, this past week, not much happened with me as far as took a week off for training, getting ready for the event in Long Beach, kind of reluctantly. didn't want to take a week off of training because I'm still trying to prep for the Arnolds. So, did that, and then we had the tournament on Saturday, was the pro classes, pro and novice. It was a tournament put on by Leonard Harkless and Denise Waddles. So thank you to them for hosting the event. As always, super professional. Love seeing them. They do amazing things for the sport. And that's the USAA, I believe. I'm almost positive. So they put on a great event. I knew going into this that obviously everybody's talking about Vrej Sadrakin. He is a multiple-time world champion from Armenia. He weighs about 175. He recently came out to California, moved to California, and I knew that he is a monster, right? Especially left-handed. There's videos, if you guys look it up, there's videos out there of him holding people, like some top guys and super heavyweights, and him pulling Devin Larratt and having wars with them left-handed and stuff like that. Like, Vrej is no joke. That dude is crazy strong, and he's 175. So for some reason, he hadn't yet pulled an event in Southern California. He moved here a while ago too. I know he did an event in Nevada, but he so I knew going into this tournament that Vrej was going to enter every weight class. I mean, because he's strong enough where left-handed, he's probably the favorite in California. Totally left-handed. I mean, stylistically, there might be some people that can give him a run. Maybe Eric Wolfell, just because Eric Wolfell has like a long arm and he really posts and top rolls hard outside. Maybe he can get outside Vrej's hand left-handed. But besides that, stylistically, I'm not seeing it. My left arm right now is not there at all. I'm not doing too hot lefty because I post in top roll, but I'm definitely not there strength wise right now. Maybe my technique might be like the right type of angles for him, but I don't have the strength. So maybe Eric Wolfell, but besides that, everybody else kind of goes right into the guy's power. And when you get into his lock, especially left-handed, that wrist does not move, and that bicep definitely does not move. So all credit to Vrej. So we got there this weekend, and I was right. Yeah, he entered 4 classes left-handed, 4 classes right-handed. He ended up winning first place in every left-handed class. So he got 4 first places left-handed, and that's like $150 per class. So he got that's $600 right there. And then he pulled 4 classes right-handed. He got 2 first places in the 0 to 175 class, and 175 to 198. He got first place in those right-handed, and then he got 2 second places in the 242s and the supers. He got second place right-handed. And then he won the overalls right-handed, which was another $500. So I think Vrej left the tournament around like $1,600 Not bad for a day of pulling. He pretty much beat mostly everybody. Credit to Tony Tomlinson, who beat him right-handed, and Dallas Langston, who beat him right-handed. Good job, guys. So, but besides that, it was a Vrej day. Everybody was taking their shots at him, trying to get him. But there was a lot of other awesome matches there. In the lightweight categories, we saw Jamie Sheldon and Alan Fisher, and got to see Oleg Mosai and Gage Jordan and Josue Serna and Cody Hadley. Everybody was there. It was a who's who as far as West Coast polling or Southern California polling. So it was a good tournament. If you guys see any videos come out, definitely check those out. I don't think there was a big YouTube channel filming at all there, so you might see some random snippets of videos popping up here and there. I didn't get a chance to film it that much. I I was busy getting my ass whooped on the table. Personally, as far as my arm wrestling goes, my head was not in it, and like that's honestly something. Like the physicality of arm wrestling, like I kind of I figured most of that out. I mean, I'm still learning there some, but that's not. I don't have a ton to go there. I've got most of it covered, I think. It's a lot of it comes down right now to me when I go to tournaments. Getting me mentally prepared is where I'm like kind of trying to figure out still. Like it's just I hate that some tournaments I'm on mentally. Some tournaments I'm there, I'm hyped, I'm out of my mind, I'm aggressive, everything's firing off mentally. And some tournaments I go up there and I'm laughing and smiling and like I just don't have it. And so last couple years I've just kind of been dialing that in. I don't like being, I don't like my performances to be so roller coastery. One tournament you see, me and I'm doing great. Next tournament you see me, I'm getting smashed, and I'm stronger than ever right now, and definitely on my lifts. So it's just a mental thing, which kind of bothers me. So definitely had an off tournament, but credit to the guys that beat me. They were doing awesome for sure. I'm just mad because I don't feel like I applied myself as well as I should have. But live and you learn, and especially since I didn't really want to pull that tournament. I only care about the Arnolds. So I think I mentioned that last podcast, just kind of getting ready for that, for the Arnolds. Anyway, and then Sunday was amateurs. My team did amazing. We have a new guy, Mega Mike, who went and got 5 first places. He won 3 classes right-handed, 2 classes left-handed, and got a second place in the other class left-handed. So, and that's his second event. So you guys listen for Mega Mike. You guys are going to hear me talk about him a lot because he's a monster. And then everybody else did amazing as well. We got Wasim, a guy on my team, got first place, I think right and left. Colby Mello got first place right-handed. I think Stephanie Spencer from San Diego. A lot of people got first places. So the team represented on both days for sure. Super proud of everybody and all the hard work we're putting in. And so nowhere to move but forward and up from here, So that's it for the tournament. Let's get into this Reddit stuff, huh? All right. So, where's my last? There we go. Starting right above my last podcast upload 6 days ago. We're going to go posted by D-A-V-U-D-S-G. Davudsg. It says, I really cannot know what to do during the arm wrestling. This night, I had a tournament. I became 3. Okay, I think he says, I had a tournament last night. I became 3. I got 3rd. But I was able to become 1 first. I was pound for pound stronger than them. Let's come to title, yes. For example, against the pullers and pressures, they are easily winning upon me. I started 1 month ago, but I have lots of lack experience and technique. Kinda sad. I don't know. I don't think he's from. English is not the strongest language here. I'm trying to figure out what he means. So looks like he did his first tournament. Only been around for a month, and is mad because he lost people from lack of experience and their weird pressures. I think so. Anyway, best thing I can say for you, man, is to, as always, find a team. Just like all of us, man, you got to find some experienced people to start training with who can show you the ropes and really explain the pressures and the styles of arm wrestling. Obviously, safety is number 1. Find a team, learn how to not break your arm. Then start getting into the moves, man. There's a lot. Each move has a bunch of different styles of the move itself. So I like to break down the moves into like their basic movements. Like so, a hook, for instance, like to break it down into like different styles of hooking, right? Different styles within the hand. Where your wrist connects and where the pressures are at, where your elbow travels. If you hook up and forward, down and back, dragging back, like there's different styles of hooking. So you break it down piece by piece and then learn how to hook or top roll or, God forbid, learn how to press. So get with a team, learn your move, learn your style of these moves, learn the general counters to counter these moves, and then learn how you like to counter these moves and things like that, right? So getting with a team is just priority number 1, and learning how to arm wrestle. Adding all the horsepower and strength comes secondary, man. It's because it could be that you're too weak, but I guarantee you don't know how to apply the pressures necessary to win, and that's the easiest thing to overcome, right? Is learning how and where to apply the right kind of pressures. So that's the best advice for you, man. Hopefully that was what you were asking about. Moving forward. All right, posted by Jaded Human 1217. Side pressure pain help. Background. To start off, I'm rather new. Had a few drunken nights of arm wrestling and became hooked. Since then, I have been reading and watching and learning from what I can from the internet. My leg day has become squats and arm wrestling training, with my pull day being deadlifts and arm wrestling training, with a push and rest day in between. I'm in love with the training and in the sense of, for lack of a better term, usable strength. Sadly, in my area, there are no clubs or leagues or anything close without an hour to 2 hour commute, so I apologize for my ignorance up front. My main issue is intense pain from side pressure. After arm wrestling with friends or just any side pressure training, I have an intense pain around my brachial region. My first couple nights from arm wrestling, the pain was so intense I seriously considered going to the ER. Ibuprofen and foam rollers have helped greatly, but every time I train this, it comes back. It's screaming loud ache from the middle side of my arm. Like I said, the brachial region. Is there any way around this to train and strengthen areas to help the pain? Is it just paying newbie dues until eventually it stops hurting, or is this a commonly permanent pain that you deal with just to be in the sport? Okay, so first off, in the first paragraph you said the closest club or teams or anything without an hour to 2 hour commute. 1 hour commute, man, that's not too much. If you really love the sport as much as you're saying, then driving 1 hour to start training with experienced people, that shouldn't be a problem. If you're having a problem finding the motivation to drive 1 hour and you're new to the sport, when like this whole thing's new and exciting and fun, and you still can't get the motivation to drive 1 hour to learn how to arm wrestle, that's the first problem I'm reading in this. I have people that drive 2.5 hours every Sunday just to train with me. So, yeah, look at that, man. You're gonna have to drive. These teams aren't everywhere, and you're not ready to start your own team yet. Really, I mean, that's kind of dangerous. So you're gonna have to make that trip for a little bit. I'd say, if it's possible, you have to make that trip for a little bit until you can learn the safety and you can learn the ropes and really start getting some solid pressures until you're ready to start your own training team. That's the first thing. Second thing, we'll start breaking down these questions you have in the bottom. Is there any way around this? Okay, so the pain you're feeling in the middle of your arm sounds like it's one of two things. Either you're getting the pain in your humerus, right, like right where the bone breaks, which makes sense, right? If you're arm wrestling, especially if you're doing side pressure, that's where you put that pressure. It really all comes together right in the middle of your humerus because you're twisting your arm, right? So it's close to, I'm not saying your arm's close to breaking, but it's never that far off, right? So you doing side pressure exercises really hits that exact spot. So yes, your bones need to become more dense and calcified and stuff and start being able to handle those pressures. Also, since you're new, there's a good chance you're arm wrestling in a really bad angle and a really bad way. So yeah, you're going to feel extra pressure in the middle of your arm in the bone. That makes a lot of sense. Now, if it's muscle pain you're feeling like in your brachialis, that makes sense because you definitely use a lot of brachialis in arm wrestling. That's like your posting ability and your pulling back, right? So if you're posting like a high hook, I guess you'd say, so posting up into the person's hand and then driving sideways, you'd be hitting your brachialis a lot, and that whole area would feel pretty beat up, right? So, is there any way around this? Yes, you could change the styles of pulling where you're not doing so much side pressure, right? So maybe hook somebody, have your palm kind of facing you a little bit, and then start pulling backwards that way. So now you're on your bicep and you're pulling backwards, so you're not going sideways. That could help alleviate some of those that pressure on the side of your arm. Take some time. Make sure you're taking care of your bones, man, so they don't break. But yeah, just always pay attention to your arm and the pressures you're feeling in the middle of your humerus, right? That's a scary spot to be getting a ton of pressure because that's where it does break. So make sure you understand the safety in arm wrestling, how to be safe, how to stay safe while you arm wrestle for sure. To train and strengthen the areas to help the pain. How do you train and strengthen the areas? Okay, well, the way to strengthen up the middle of your humerus would be through controlled, slow pressure on your humerus, right? Until it slowly builds up over months, years, right? Until your bone is used to holding the pressure and it's not trembling or in any really dangerous spot of breaking. And that takes a long time, right? And so very lightly, very controlled, not with some other new guy who's going to be slamming back and forth. You don't know what you're doing. Controlled pressure on your humerus, it'll build up over time. But as far as strengthening areas, so if it is your brachialis that needs strengthening, then it would be, hammer curls, reverse curls, things like that, ways to hit your brachialis. There's a million different ways to hit it. General arm wrestling, posting, and stuff like that will keep getting your brachialis and that whole area stronger. That's just, the inside of your elbow and your brachialis and the side of your arm are two very common pressures and pains that you're going to feel for a while being a new guy, for sure. There's definitely no problem with that, but definitely pay attention, man. Pay attention to where your arm positioning, and so you don't get hurt there, right? Because it could be, not saying this is it, and I'm definitely not a doctor, let me say that, but it could be, I've heard of people having stress fractures and like hairline fractures in their arm that they didn't really notice, and it could be hurting from that, and then you keep hitting it, and it could be a full-on break. So just be careful, man. Is this just paying newbie dues until it eventually stops hurting, or is this a common permanent pain you just deal with to be in the sport? Middle of your brachialis, or the middle of your humerus and the side of your arm there, that's like every once in a while I'll feel that pressure. I'm about 10 years in, not too often, but I mean, like I said, it really depends on the style of my arm wrestling. If I'm trying to imitate Todd Hutchings and I'm slamming hard sideways, then I'll feel it inside my elbow, and I'll feel my brachialis in my humerus, in my bone, from just the torque in my bone twisting. I'll still feel a little bit, but my bone's pretty thick now and pretty used to the pressures. So I don't think you're going to have to deal with it common. That pain isn't super common when you get into the sport. That kind of goes away after a while. But yeah, so it's definitely, newbie dues. As you say, it's your body adjusting to arm wrestling, man. You've never done this arm wrestling stuff in your whole life at any serious level. So now all of a sudden you're killing out your bone structure, and your body's telling you, like, this hurts, dude. Like, ow. So it's just adjusting. It's becoming an arm wrestling arm and an arm wrestling body. You just gotta give it some time. All right, moving forward, posted by NNQ2603. Jeff Hale, WAF 2019. These are Jeff's matches. And I think we talked about this in the last podcast. Jeff Hale went to WAF last week and did great. I mean, all in all, I think he did fantastic. Jeff shows that he belongs in there. He beat some really strong Europeans and in their power. No tricks, no games. Went right in there, and they were pulling out King's moves and all types of crap to beat him, and he hung in there. So kudos to Jeff, man. Way to be fast and powerful and show that you belong in that group. So moving forward, posted by Toop Karcher. Side pressure training last night. What do you guys think about the form? Should newbies train side pressure? And then it's a video of him. Basically, he has a fat grip attachment on top of a regular rolling handle that you'd see at the gym. He brings a bench, a adjustable bench that you could use to do, dumbbell flies, or you could incline it so you could do incline press and stuff like that, like a adjustable bench, I guess you call it. I can't think of the word. Anyway, so he puts his elbow on the bench with holding onto the handle, and then he starts taking his arm sideways, a very general side pressure motion with the attachment straight in front of him. So, watching this, one thing I can see is that you're doing a lot of shoulder, man. So your elbow is tucking to the side of your body as you're just driving sideways. So it's a really general side pressure, but I can see that you're not engaging your chest too much. The way you guys use your chest in arm wrestling is by moving your elbow around. So taking my elbow from the side of my body, so we're talking about my right elbow, taking my elbow from the side of my body and then moving it to in front of my belly button, that motion in arm wrestling is how we utilize our chest. Right? So it's like a flying motion, right? Just where the way you move your elbow is how you utilize your chest in arm wrestling. So your elbow in this video is staying at the side of your body, and when you start going sideways, your elbow is actually flaring out the opposite way, away from your body, so you could force down pressure, or like force the handle down. So I'd say tuck your elbow in. When you start going sideways with that handle, make sure your elbow is traveling sideways with it. So your elbow should end up within your body, closer to your belly button, or let it start with your elbow inside your belly button, so your chest is doing more of a static hold, or like a static hold, while you're utilizing your shoulder for the actual side pressure motion. If you understand what I'm saying, because right now it looked like you're using all rotator cuff, all shoulder, right? You're just shouldering the thing over, so you should be feeling that a lot in your shoulder, maybe a little bit in your humerus. That should be mostly what you're feeling from the way you were doing it, and maybe a little bit in your forearms from cupping, but. And since you had the handle or the pulley directly in front of you, it's not fighting you sideways as much as you utilizing your lat and your bicep and pulling backwards, right? So maybe set the pulley up a little bit to the side of you, and so it's trying to pull you the opposite sideways. It's trying to pin you, basically, like open your arm up. Have the pressure going a little bit more that way, and then definitely keep your elbow in. But do I think newbies should train side pressure? Yes. It's dangerous, but it's also a tool we utilize in arm wrestling. But it's dangerous. I'll repeat, it's dangerous, you guys. You can really hurt your elbows, pop tendons. Obviously, you could break your arm. There's a lot of things that can happen by training heavy side pressure when you're a new guy. So, approach it carefully. Adequate table time, guys, is more than enough side pressure training at first than you need. That's plenty. Just getting on the table and training with a team will train your side pressure plenty when you first start, for sure. Then maybe later on you might need to supplement the table time with some side pressure training, but definitely not right away, guys. Just get on the table. Start arm wrestling. New guys, arm wrestle. Moving forward, posted by Valerayo Look. It's a video titled "An Unknown Freak That Has Potential, Antonino." Basically, I believe it's Italian video of like a local tournament, and there's a guy that comes into arm wrestle, and he has to be 7'4" right? I'm 6'8", and that guy is huge. So he at least 7 foot something. His when he stands up next to the table, his hips are so far above the table, it's crazy, right? So yeah, definitely above 7 foot. My best friend's 7 foot, and this guy's way taller than him. So I'm thinking like 7'4" or something like that, right? 7'4", 7'5", he's somewhere up there, gigantic. When he grips up on the table, his hands are really big, but see, there's a point of where your arms are so long that at all times your elbow has to start at the back of the pad. You can't even start a match really without your elbow at the very back of the pad, and so all you can do is post up and hold on. So in these tournaments, the people he matches up with, they're a lot smaller than him, and his hand is so big he just holds on to them and they can't move it. And he just pulls up a little bit, like posts up a little bit, and just drives sideways. Just drops his body sideways, and his hand and angles are just too much for them. What I would do if I was arm wrestling someone with a hand size that big is, first, I would not try to mess with his hand. I would slam my wrist onto his wrist, so force him to hook me, and then we'd figure out how strong his bicep is and his shoulder. I would not ever try to fight someone's hand when they're like 7'4". Now, does he have potential? Of course, dude. Everybody has potential in arm wrestling. No, everybody has potential. But, I mean, he has early potential, but it's all about his, like, okay, right now, odds are, if I arm wrestled that guy, I would truck him. I feel. I'm pretty confident in saying that I would beat that guy. But not because he doesn't have more tools than I do. It's just because I've trained and I'm experienced and stuff. But to get from a point of being a new guy to where I'm at now, there's so many, like, thousands of hours of training. And so is he willing to do that? I don't know, right? Potential? Yeah, sure. Is he willing to put in the work necessary? And he was an older guy, so that takes a little bit longer still. So who knows, but definitely potential to be an amazing amateur right off the bat, win all those tournaments. But at a world level, who knows, man, because no matter what, no one walks in off the street at a world level and is a contender right away. It takes years. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter if you have, world records in powerlifting and bodybuilding and strongman. You're not going to walk in and be at a top level. It takes work no matter what. Even Brian Shaw, guys, he's going to have to put in some serious work to get his elbows and everything ready for arm wrestling. So, yeah, I mean, who knows? Potential for sure, but it takes so much work. So hopefully he's willing to dedicate his life to arm wrestling to reach it. And by all means, I really do hope he does. Moving forward, posted by Rodental, Larrett versus Bresnan 2012. This is the video where Tim Bresnan went up to Canada and had a super match with Devin Larratt. And first off, I am a huge, big fan of Tim Bresnan. Great dude. I had my super match with Tim. I got to hang out with him, talk with him. Tim Bresnan's awesome. On the same time, I'm a huge Devin Larratt fan. Devin Larratt's been helping me and helping train me and stuff since I started the sport. He answered my messages and stuff since I first got into the sport, and he's been helping me nonstop since. I try to model a lot of my moves and things I try to do on the table off his angles because we have the same length of arm. So definitely, and he's 6'6", I'm 6'8", so Devin's always been a big person I've looked up to as far as actually like physically arm wrestling, and obviously, everybody knows who Devin is. So this was a match where Tim had been trying to get the match with Devin for a while. They've been trying to work it out. Tim went up there and he pulled in the MLA, which was the Major League Arm Wrestling, I believe. I remember Ian Carnegie, one of Devin's teammates, was helping run this and promote it. I don't know if it was his league or not, but it was in Canada, and Tim took it to Devin. And it's a very questionable super match. I know Tim has mentioned that, like he has some discrepancies about the way it went down because it was in Devin's hometown, and there were some calls that you could say were questionable from Devin's countrymen up there. And because some people say Tim, won that thing, but Tim went up there prepared, and he took it right to Devin, and that is a great match. You guys get a chance to watch that. Watch Tim Bresnan and Devin. And it just, honestly, more than anything, that just shows, like, everybody always counts Tim Bresnan out, which is crazy, man. He's known as the most underrated guy that's at the top level of the sport in the world. And, like, he's so underrated. And it's wild to me, man, how much credit people don't give Tim Bresnan. But yeah, watch that video, and you guys will probably have a newfound respect for Tim Bresnan if you haven't watched that video yet. Okay, moving forward. Posted by Light Mike 578, Carolina Carnage 9-man left-handed round robin. Who do you think is going to win this? That's the Carolina Carnage. That's the event that has I'm looking right now. It's posted by Grip Genie, sponsored by Grip Genie, I believe. Kenny Smith, Jordan Sill, Paul Passmore, Paul Walther, Scott Ballinger, CJ Twine, Doug Allen, Jonathan Breda, and Jerome Loud are all in a huge round robin where I believe it's left-handed round robin. So, man, there's a lot of guys in there I haven't met. There's a lot of guys I have met and pulled. I have no idea. Like, there's so many amazing arm wrestlers in there. Jordan Sill, I've met and pulled with Jordan a few times, and dude is crazy strong, especially left-handed. Kenny Smith, never met him, seen a ton of videos, and he's like a freak. There's videos of him doing left-handed work against the best guys in the country, and I know he's not even that heavy. He's pretty light. Paul Passmore, my boy, and he right-handed and left-handed. I think he's actually better left-handed. He's the one that just had the match with Herman Stevens and with Matt Mask, and he's the one that he beat Matt Mask left-handed. Yeah, so obviously Paul is a left-handed beast. Paul Walther, legend in the sport. I believe he's lefty dominant. I've never met him. He's the one in some of Juji's videos, arm wrestling over there. But I know was especially when he's training, one of the top dogs over there in that side of the country. Scott Ballinger. Scott, I pulled him one time right-handed, and he beat me at the Arnold's last year. Pissed about it still. But Scott's been around for a long time. Super strong guy, very smart puller. CJ Twine, definitely a strong dude. I've just pulled with him in Mississippi States. I pulled him lefty, and I beat him. But I think he had a lefty super match with Jonathan Breda, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Anyway, CJ Twine, super strong dude, definitely up and coming. Jerome Loud, I don't know anything about him, not going to lie. Jonathan Breda, I believe I saw him at Mississippi State. Super strong dude, especially when he gets in his power. It was awesome watching him pull. And dude, it definitely has a ton of power in that chest and bicep area for sure. and Doug Allen. Doug Allen, been a legend in American arm wrestling since I've been around. Has pulled the best of the best and can never count him out. It just kind of, I mean, and from what I've seen, it always just looks at like what Doug shows up, you know. So as far as who's the favorite to win that whole thing, I don't even know, man. I mean, Paul's on a tear. I'm gonna say Paul Passmore. He's been beating everybody lately. So there we go. I'll just say Paul Passmore. Paul, you're my boy. You know, get it done, man. Okay, moving forward. Who are the top 10 arm wrestlers that are active right now? Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, that's posted by Fap Pain in the chat. Fap Pain in the chat. Oh. Who are the top 10 arm wrestlers that are active right now? Oh, come on, man. I like that's. I mean, honestly, I'd have to sit down and mull that over. I mean, you can't just go by what the top 8 is, because that's missing out a bunch of people out of WAL, right? And then there's still random people floating around the world that aren't in WAL or in the top 8 that probably could hang out in that level as well. So, I mean, obviously you got Levon, Vitali, Trubin, then you got Michael Todd, Devin Larrett, Jerry Caderet, I think right now is in there. Dave Chafee, that's 7. Tim Bresnan, like I just said, you can never count him out. That's 8. Then yeah, I mean, you still got to have Prudnick in there. That's 9. And what, like Rustam, 10? I mean, that's just off the top of my head. I'm probably forgetting a ton of people. I don't know. I definitely have to put some thought into that. Yeah. Okay, moving forward, guys. Posted by Booba Master 1234. Me in the blue shirt at the Nordic Open competition in Sweden. So it's a video. He looks young. Looks probably like, I don't know, 15. It's a quick match of him. He shoots into a hook real quick. Everything looks good. Threw the shoulder forward. Kept his angle between his bicep and his forearm tight. Shot forward, sank in the hook, kind of lower on the guy's wrist. Turn the shoulder in, tighten the hook out the way you should. Focused on your pronation and drove sideways and beat the guy through rotation primarily. Good job, man. Like that was a great match. Congratulations on winning that. Looked like a textbook hook. Good shit. All right, moving forward. Posted by 17-year-old pro arm wrestle. Some of my matches for my last tournament in New Jersey, USA. Been arm wrestling since March 2019. I went undefeated right arm in the amateur 180 through 200, and I got second left. At my next tournament, I plan to pull pro and try to bring home a medal. Any technique critique is welcome. I'm a student of the game. First off, that's the longest title I've ever heard of on on these videos. So I watched that. Dude's smart. Has good instincts for the game. Is winning through what looks like mostly wrist strength. If anything, man, I would say focus on moving your elbow, utilizing your chest, and start. When you get to the big levels in the top pro levels, not only are people going to have strong hands like you have, but they're going to exploit your the fact that you're not utilizing your chest or your bicep very well. So I would say focus on those, on getting your big muscles ready. Do a lot of strap pulling when you're training, which will help target all those big muscle groups. So, bicep and chest, start getting those ready, man, because in the video I saw, you relied on your hand strength a lot, and when that's not there, and you have to start using your big muscle groups, then you're going to be kind of mad if they're not prepared, right? That's a big thing I noticed. But good job, man. Good job on all your wins, and stay a student of the game, for sure. Moving forward, posted by Snycat. How big does your hand need to be to gain an advantage? Then it's a picture of him with a ruler, and it looks like his hand from side of it, his width of his hand from is like what was that, inches? 11 inches? What is that, centimeters? What is that? Okay, so the width of your hand, like the way you're measuring it, I mean, I don't know exact numbers. I mean, I've never really measured my hand. I've never had a conversation with people about exact diameter of their hand and how big their hand is. So I don't think it's not about how big your hand needs to be to gain an advantage. It's how well you use the hand that you do have and how strong your hand is, right? So having coverage, right? I have a good size hand. It's medium for my size. It's big to most people, but because I'm 6'8", so it's just like normal for my size. When I get a good grip on the back of people's hands, the fact that I have longer fingers gives me, and the more coverage you get on anything, the more pressure I can hold, right? So training my hands to be strong has never been as much of a priority because the more coverage you have, the more you can hold on to, right? So if you have smaller hands, they just need to be a little bit stronger and you need to focus on your fingertip strength. So like having a big hand can help out, so you don't have to focus on your hand strength as much because the coverage you can get will compensate for your lack of hand strength. But there's not like a set inch or centimeter size where all of a sudden you're like, oh, now you have the advantage. Just in general, I'd say having a thick hand is big. So the spot between your thumb, the webbing between your thumb and your index finger, having that spot get thick is big, so people can't get their fingers around the back of your hand. Do that via grip training, grabbing onto things, rope training. That's like your thumb muscle. Put your hand in rice and move your thumb around, things like that, and sand. Getting that thick is big. So you always want. I mean, I've been saying, I think, in my opinion, the best built hand would be good size palm and fingers, but you want the pad of your hand below your pinky. You want that to be thin, if you could, so that way you can get better coverage in the back of their hand, and that doesn't force you off their hand. It's too thick. But you want your thumb to be thick as shit. The ball of your thumb and the webbing between your thumb and your index finger, you want all that to be super thick. So that way, they can't get a hold of you. They can't get good coverage on the back of your hand. The thicker you get your hand, the less coverage your opponent can get on the back of your hand, right? So then the more you can move around. You can topple them or kind of move your hand at will, right? So that's always been something I've been proud of and something I've actively worked at, is trying to get my thumb and my hand thick as shit. And I definitely get comments at practice from new guys and people when they meet me, like when I'm gripping up with them seriously, that, wow, dude, your thumb is thick. And yeah. Hell yeah. I would find workouts for me that really I felt really killed that out. When I would get done with the workout, I'm like, man, I can't move my thumb, and I would start doing those a lot. For me, it was like doing a lot with ropes and just gripping onto the rope tight and moving it around really helped my hand get thick, especially my right hand. So yeah, I think thickness on your hand is big, but getting good coverage is always a good thing. But that doesn't mean if you have a little hand that you can't arm wrestle. People get a super defeated attitude the moment they have a small hand. I can't do this, I have a small hand. No, that just means that you need to focus on a style of arm wrestling that doesn't rely on the size of your hand, man. Get your hand as strong as you can, of course, by default. But if you have a small hand and your style of arm wrestling is holding on to people, well, that's not very fucking smart. I mean, sorry with the F word. I try not to curse too much on here. But basically, if you have a small hand, then you need to be offensive. You need to be going and making them hold on to you. Right? Because obviously you don't have a natural advantage at holding on to people. Or you need to be a master in the straps. Right? Because you go to the straps whenever you want. And so when you have a small hand, the size of your hand doesn't really matter in the straps as far as the length of your fingers. So get all that matters is the strength in your wrist. Right? So get to the straps. Either make a career in the straps or be so offensive and fast that the size of your hand doesn't matter. Right? So you can be an amazing arm wrestler with a small hand. You don't need to have a giant hand to be good at arm wrestling. But does it have like an advantage in more situations than not? Sure. But is that like the decision maker? No, not at all. All right. Moving forward. Posted by Min Hale. Says, how much more advantage does a full-time arm wrestler have? I was surprised to learn that Vitaly Ledin is a full-time trucker. It's ridiculous the number of hours these guys work. In Mazurenko's videos, Vitaly says he's extremely passionate about his trucking job, and he only trains arm wrestling once a month. How is this possible? How can he train so casually and still become the best in the world? This also got me thinking, how much better would these guys be if they... how much better would these guys become if they made training their full-time job? I know there's a lot of arm wrestlers who training is their full-time job. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe Krasimir Kostadinov is a personal trainer in his free time, kind of, and then the rest of the money comes from arm wrestling and training arm wrestlers, right? So, and then I know there's arm wrestlers in other countries where especially if your government will pay you for the medals you get, then their job is just arm wrestling. That's like kind of what they do. The cost of living isn't very high where they live at, so they win a tournament. They win like worlds. They bring home the medal. The government pays them for winning, for getting gold. Then they can live off that. It's not an insane amount, but where they live, they can live off that amount of money for a while. And so I know I've heard of people living together and just training, like some world champs, multiple people in like a house and just training 24/7. So there's definitely some people that do full-time arm wrestling. It sounds like Vitaly, focuses on his job and on trucking. And who knows, man? He, at that level, Vitaly's been arm wrestling for such a long time. It's just about keeping your muscles up to date, making sure that you're not getting weaker and you continue to get stronger as far as in your muscles, and just staying fine-tuned as far as your arm wrestling ability. So he doesn't need to build up his elbows, or he doesn't need to turn his body to an arm wrestling body at this point. It's already there, right? So it's just maintaining horsepower. He might be saying that when he trains arm wrestling that he only arm wrestles once a month, which is pretty believable. But even driving, man, I'm sure in his big rig he actually has a bunch of bands and a nice little setup for training. And so I know he's doing more work than just one thing a month, right? He must have meant one table time a month. Yeah, I mean, either way, man, however Vitaly's doing it, it's working, right? Obviously. So to say that, he's not training very often is definitely not accurate. And even if it is right now, like within the last month, maybe he hasn't been training a lot, but he has so many years of hardcore training and pushing himself in the sport that, obviously you don't get that strong and you don't go from where he was to where he's at without serious training and dedication, right? So moving forward, posted by Rodental, rando truck driver tries arm wrestling. It's a video of Vitaly Letin getting into arm wrestling, preparing for Levon. So I didn't watch it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I didn't watch that video. Yeah. So I'm sure Vitaly is taking this very serious. You can tell he's getting thicker and stuff in all the pictures and videos I've seen recently of him. He's definitely putting on some pounds, which he has to. At some point, you just have to start stacking on mass. That's why you see a lot of the world's strongest men are always really thick. And you can only get so strong at a lightweight, guys, until you have to start putting on mass. So it looks like Vitaly's trying to get as big as he can and thick as he can to be able to try to combat Levon's just giantness. Just to be able to stack that amount of muscle and horsepower. So, good for Vitaly. Moving forward, posted by Microwave HS. How this go unnoticed with a huge bunch of professional athletes and referees. It's a video where at Worlds, at WAF, I guess in like 3 of the semifinal matches left-handed, they had the table set up for right hand. So they had the pads and everything set up for right-handed arm wrestling, but they were arm wrestling left-handed. Okay, so it's kind of a bad time for WAF to have a big oversight like this with all the scrutiny that they're under, because, WAF and IFA and all them, they're all splitting, so WAF is kind of fragmenting off a little bit. So everybody's like looking for a way to, talk crap about WAF, kind of. A lot of people are. And so not a good time for WAF to have the pads set the wrong way for 3 matches in a row. But, something like that can go unnoticed. The competitors are so, hyped up and out of their mind. They're not thinking about little details like that about as far as the pads. And they're trusting the referees in the tournament to have it set up the right way. So they just go up there and arm wrestle with whatever's in front of them. I'm sure, they weren't thinking about it too much. And, the referees are probably the same thing. They're on the main stage with cameras and thousands of people around them staring at them, stuff. They're not thinking about, that type of stuff. They're just trying to not mess up the calls more than anything. So, yeah, I mean, I understand how it could happen. It just kind of sucks that it did. It took, I think it was 3 matches before they figured it out. Come on, guys. We got to lock that up. Moving forward, posted by Random Dust Bunny. New Arm Wrestler's Guide, Basic Foot and Hip Placement with Paul Lynn. This is a YouTube video of Paul Lynn talking about foot placement and how to set your feet and what different stances mean. I've also done a video on this. If you guys check out my YouTube page, I believe I did a practice video where I talked on foot placement for a while. Basically, your competing foot, so you're doing right-handed arm wrestling and your right foot is forward, then the competition foot, the competing foot, basically you're going to drive, or the person is going to drive the opposite of wherever that foot's placed. So if my right foot is forward, then I'm going to drive backwards. If my right foot is to the right, then I'm going to drive to the left. Right? The competing foot kind of shows that they're going to drive opposite of that foot. Okay, because that's the one that's they're going to drive power from. So you can see which kind of general direction they're going to try to pin. Then the non-competing foot, wherever that toe is pointed, kind of shows where they want their shoulders to end up at the end of the match. Right? So some people, we're talking about right-handed arm wrestling right now, just for example, some people will have their left toe facing directly to the left, and so they plan on twisting their body and having their shoulders square up with that at the end of the motion. Right? So you can kind of see if they have their toes both pointed directly straight, then they're going to be driving backwards. If they have their toe, wherever that left toe, the non-competing toe is facing, shows where they plan to end up with their shoulders. And if you guys watch my video of it as well, I go over it and I show you guys physically, but so does Paul. Paul is a great arm wrestler, super good dude, smart as hell. These videos are fantastic, the ones he's putting out. Definitely some beginner knowledge that a lot of people are looking for sure. Moving forward, posted by the Latvian Wonder, senior men's 110 kg class at the WAF. Just more matches from WAF that just happened last week. So you guys check more of those out. I mean, those videos are going to keep popping up for a while for sure. Posts going forward, posted by Snickhat. Wait, was this the same guy that posted that big thing about side pressure hurting his arm really bad? Let me see, was that the same guy? Nope, it's a different guy. Sorry, everybody's getting the same pains. Okay, so posted by Snickhat. It's a picture, and the title is, "Been training for arm wrestling for 1 month now. Do I need to stop? Am I ruining myself? Extreme agonizing floor rolling pain after each workout, left and right, in his humerus." Basically, it's he has a picture of his arm, and there's a line on the side of his arm where his brachialis and his humerus kind of are. And people, they don't mention whether it's a bone pain or if it's a muscle pain. Let me see the comments. Maybe in the comments somewhere he mentions what kind of pain it is. Alright, so sorry, I normally don't go to the comments here, but I'm just kind of wondering, like, what kind of pain are we talking about here, man? So sorry guys, sorry for being so silent. So people are telling him to stop fooling around with side pressure. Pain usually dampens within an hour, then after 2 it's barely noticeable, but for most days I'll feel it if I use side pressure. Well, yeah, because side pressure goes through your humerus. That's where you're going to feel it. So maybe stop focusing on side pressure so much. I don't know why everybody keeps focusing on side pressure so much, guys. Like, that takes a long time to build. Yeah, I think he hasn't mentioned the bone at all, so I think he's talking about his humerus. I mean, his brachialis, sorry. So if it is his brachialis and not his bone, then just take it easy, man. You're probably overtraining it. Trying to do side pressure every single workout, which you shouldn't. You might have a small partial tear or something like that in there if it's really hurting that bad, like rolling on the floor pain. Take it easy, man. So there's other vectors and directions and angles you need to work out for arm wrestling. It doesn't have to be side pressure all the time. Give yourself a week or so. Let the side pressure heal up. Let those pressures and everything on your brachialis kind of relax a little bit. Focus on your bicep, the different bicep heads, or focus on your wrist, or focus on your chest and getting your chest stronger. Like, there's other things you can focus on besides trying to kill out the side of your arm. Moving forward, posted by NNQ2603, Devin Larratt versus Tiago Ferreira. Ferreira? Damn it. Tiago, I've seen videos of him. Dude's a beast in the gym, for sure. And apparently on the table, he's like the man as well. And this is a video posted by Devin Larratt of him and Tiago pulling right-handed and left-handed down in Brazil, where Devin is visiting right now. He's definitely making Devin try. Devin seems to be bringing him into a hook where Tiago looks like he wants to go, and Devin's being able to hold him, but not super easily. But Devin's also really strong right now, more so than normal. And so the fact that he's making Devin grit and grind like that is a testament to the amount of pressure Tiago's applying. And the dude is built like a fucking tank. So, yeah, I mean, watch these matches and stuff like that. And it's just crazy to see Devin, his angles. The fact that he can be so open and hold somebody with that amount of pressure is kind of wild. But yeah, I mean, kudos to Tiago for making Devin struggle that much. So moving forward, posted by the Latvian Wonder, 100 kg left arm. So he's posting out more videos of WAF, breaking down the classes. Like I said, you guys get a chance to watch that. Do it. Moving forward, posted by Rodental, Travis Bagent versus Chance Shaw. So this is the one, I believe it was after a tournament that Travis was throwing. Him and Chance pull, and Chance beats him right-handed in the straps, and Travis beats him left-handed in the straps, I believe. I don't know how serious it was, or it was just kind of messing around, but yeah. I mean, like, Chance is definitely up and coming. Good dude, super strong. Travis is definitely not training. I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses, though. I mean, Chance is a super strong dude. I'm just saying, like, I mean, he was throwing the tournament, you know. I mean, we all know what a trained up Travis looks like, you know what I mean? And that's definitely not him right now, for sure. So he's just promoting right now. But I think that Chance's other wins are more impressive than him beating Travis, is what I'm saying. So it's nothing against Chance. He's beaten stronger and better people than that Travis that he beat in that video, is what I'm saying. Moving forward, posted by Dankius 1994. Taryn Broad and Australian 80 kg National Arm Wrestling Championships. Taryn, I watched this video, kept sucking people into a hook, and this is at the Australian Arm Wrestling Championships that just happened a couple days ago. Taryn looked super strong. I watched this video. He was jumping into a hook. Everything looked really well. Your wrist is looking super strong, and the bicep wasn't dying too much. The losses I saw in the video was people getting an advantage in the setup a little bit and exploiting your hand, really hitting out there. Make sure you don't, from what I see, man, and I could be completely wrong. I'm just talking about from the video I watched. Make sure you value your finger placement and what you're doing with your hand more so than the speed you're throwing in there, or just as much, if not more so, than the speed you're throwing in there or your bicep strength. You know what I mean? Because it looked like you were kind of getting a grip, letting it settle. You weren't too focused on it. And then relying on the fact that you're faster or potentially stronger than them. But the little stuff matters a lot, especially when you're going against top rollers that are really going to try to exploit your hand. If everybody knows you have a good hook, then they're all going to try to top roll you. So make sure you lock that down, man. Get those bottom two fingers ready. But good shit, all in all. Looks super strong, man. Let's see. Moving forward, it was a video posted by Rodental that I can't watch in my country, so I don't. It was a practice video of Devin Larratt and Chance Shaw. And then moving forward, posted by Rodental again, Justin Bishop versus Chance Shaw. Rodental, is that Chance? Chance, is that you posting on here? Or is it just Rodental on this whole Chance Shaw kick right now? Chance, I believe, I'm not sure if it's set yet, but I believe Chance Shaw and Ryan Bowen are talking about having a super match. Ryan, because Ryan's doing that thing where everybody, his followers pick someone for him to arm wrestle in the world, and they all pitch in and give money, and then he flies somewhere around the world and arm wrestles people, whoever they choose. So I think, and he hosted a poll, and I believe Chance is winning the poll, because Chance is up and coming from Sorry, I got cut off there. And everybody wants to see Chance compete with the top guys in the world. So, yeah, these videos keep getting posted. I think they're trying to stir up some hype for the Chance Shaw and Ryan Bowen match. So yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see it for sure. Their styles, they're similar enough, but different enough where it's interesting, right? They both like the straps, it seems, in general, and they both like to post with a low hand or with a lower wrist. So it's like, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. Chance looks like a tank right now, and I know Ryan's been switching up his pressures, really focusing on side pressure and a lot of Todd Hutchings type of arm wrestling. So I'm not sure exactly how that would go, but I'm definitely interested to find out. Yeah, interested. All right, guys. This video was Justin Bishop versus Chance Shaw, and that Justin won they had a super match, and Justin won it 2-1. But Chance definitely took a match from Justin. That was in 2017. So just more hype for Chance and to see him versus Ryan and to see him coming up. Right. So that's going to be the end of the podcast, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to my raspy-ass voice talk about arm wrestling for so long. I have my gym partner calling me. He's waiting for me to go to the gym with him right now. I got to get in there and go put in that work. Hopefully you guys feeling strong, rehabbing, keep moving forward, keep loving arm wrestling, watching all these videos, and keep pursuing this, guys. If you guys ever need anything from me, feel free to message me or just post on Reddit, and I'll go over and give you guys my opinion on whatever you guys talk about there. So, talk to you guys later. Be bold as shit and keep going for what you want. Hell yeah. See you guys later.